Ready. Play.
(30-40) match point on the Cachin serve. Where are you going with this serve? You are going down the tee, but you're going long. So it's going to be a second serve. Forehand return here for Rafa. Backhand from Cachin. I think we're just going to see Cachin try and stay solid on this one. I could be wrong. That was good depth there from Pedro. Now on the Rafa backhand. Now on the Pedro forehand. Low net clearance there from Pedro. Now on the Rafa backhand from the forehand. Has that gone long? It has. It has. And Rafael Nadal gets over the line. 6-3 in the third set. He does it to the delight of the Spanish crowd. Cachin there, just having a chat with him at the net. I don't know what about. But it looks very cordial. Anyway, Rafael Nadal has sealed his spot in the next round of the Madrid Open, much to his delight and the delight, of course, of the home crowd. There is his family. His son is there looking perplexed. But anyway, Nadal seals it 6-3 in the third, and things look really, really different at 6-1. I mean, basically, Nadal, a nice little warm hug there. Nadal winning that first set 6-1, and also doing so with 3 breaks of serve because Pedro was trying to stay in the set at 1-5 and couldn't do so. The first 3 or 4 games, Pedro was spraying errors left, right, and center, and Rafa wasn't having to do very much. And really, that was probably the story of the first set, with Rafa being nothing more than solid. But the second set, things changed and got very interesting. Pedro got an early break, I think, to go 1-love up. He waves to the crowd. Looks like that pretty pleased as he takes his pair of shoes off that also got damaged, it seemed like. And Rafa giving him an applause. It's a very nice exchange between the two players. And he's getting an applause from everyone there, Pedro Cachin. He really did put up a great fight today. It turned into an epic match, and he was partly responsible for that in the second set when Rafa maybe did go down a notch or two, and it needed him to go down a double break at 4-1 in that second set for Rafa really to pick things up again. And once he did pick things up again, though, things looked a bit dodgy for Pedro, as basically he tried to serve it out at 5-4 because Rafa got one of the breaks back. He didn't serve it out, and in doing so, he double faulted twice. And there was also a couple of other unforced errors in that particular game. But quickly, he gets another break, 6-5, serving forward again. Rafa breaks to love, and we go into a tie break, and it just felt like all the momentum was with Nadal. The crowd was there, and fist pumps all over. Just having a quick look at some of the match stats now as well. We've got 36 winners off the racket of Rafa Nadal and 30 off the racket of Pedro Cachin. 32 unforced errors from Rafa. Pretty tight, these stats, as you can see. 32 unforced errors from Rafa Nadal and 41 from the Argentinian. Anyway, we went into that tiebreak, as I was saying, with a lot of that momentum and all, of course, the crowd support behind the Spaniard. But Cachin not just ekes out, but has a very commanding 4-1 lead that actually became 4-2 at the change of ends and then soon became 4-all. So once again, Rafa, for the third time, is sort of mounting an incredible comeback in that set, but also perhaps a mini collapse from Pedro Cachin. Cachin did really well to withstand that and end up taking the tiebreak on I think a first serve Rafa serve and volley attempt, as Rafa tried to serve and volley it, but Cachin passed him incredibly. So we then go into a third set. Rafa gets the early break. Cachin breaks back. Was it always high quality from both players? No. Did it always feel like it was on Rafa's racket? Probably yes. But Cachin put up a great fight to make that third set still very competitive again. Rafa then ekes out another break advantage. And that was one he didn't cede before eventually breaking again. There were some real highlight reel shots from Rafa today, for sure. And he'll probably appreciate the 3 hours plus on court, bearing in mind he's had 2 straight sets matches here, and he had 2 straight sets matches as well in Barcelona, one in victory, one in defeat to De Minaur, which of course he avenged on Saturday. And now Rafael Nadal will play Jiří Lehecka in the next round, because Lehecka beat Montero in straight sets earlier on today. Let's see if there's anything fascinating on Twitter to share with you all before we bring this to a close. Here's a tweet from Damien. Cachin's altitude success, including 5 wins in Madrid. Remember, of course, he was on a 15-match losing streak coming into this tournament, but he's won 2 matches back-to-back. Let's hope that this loss today for Cachin isn't the first of another 15 to come. Anyway, Cachin's altitude success, including 5 wins in Madrid, last 2 editions, was usually built on some very strong performances behind his serve. Against Nadal, it wasn't much damage. Let's have a quick listen to Rafa Nadal now.
This match was an up and down. How do you feel about your tennis?
Well, some moments good, some moments not good. I find a way to beat it. I think in the first set, even with some mistakes, I was able to be a little bit more unpredictable, and that probably changed the match.
You've talked about your physical struggles over the last few months. When you're on this court, how much of the experience is pleasure and how much is it pain?
No, now enjoying. No, let's see how I wake up tomorrow. No, I don't know. I mean, day by day, enjoying the fact that playing at home means everything to me, and just trying my best to keep dreaming now. And tomorrow is another day to keep dreaming, playing in front of this amazing crowd, and that for me, it's everything.
See you back tomorrow. Thank you.
There we go. So Rafa Nadal does indeed go through. But yes, tweet there from Damien regarding Cachin's serve not being quite as effective today. But it was built against Nadal. It wasn't doing much damage, and he basically had to try to somehow beat Rafa from neutral. Not a bad effort, and made it memorable. Indeed, Damien. What about that? Made it memorable. Damien Kust. All-time win-loss record at ATP Masters 1000s. Rafa Nadal now is on 409 wins and 88 losses. It's actually exactly the same number of losses as Novak Djokovic, but Djokovic is 6 wins behind on 403. Hence Nadal, at least for now, it does feel very much like it's for now. He's on top of that particular tree. Of course, Novak Djokovic is not here in the Spanish capital. He's keeping his powder dry for most likely Rome. Here's a tweet from the US Open Twitter account, just putting up the scoreline for you there, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see that. Just having a quick glance through the Twitter sphere. Obviously, get voting in our poll, but of course, the first option now is no longer applicable. So unlucky if you vote for that one. But do you see him losing to Lehecka in the next round, or do you see him going even deeper? Do get voting there. Of course, Casper Ruud is in the same half. He potentially would lie in wait, perhaps in the semi-final, I think, for Rafa Nadal. But you might think that that will be Jannik Sinner, because I think Casper Ruud and Jannik Sinner are on a collision course for the quarterfinals, potentially. Casper Ruud beating Cam Norrie earlier. A potential quarterfinalist for Rafa Nadal, should he beat Lehecka, would very much be Daniel Medvedev, who beat Sebi Korda in 3 sets earlier. So that is to come in the future. So make sure we keep an eye on that. Just going to see if there's anything else to share with you from the Twitter sphere. Here looks like an interesting tweet to me from Zayn. On the 29th of April 2002, a 15-year-old Rafa Nadal wins his first ATP match at the Mallorca Open in Spain. 22 years later, a 37-year-old Rafael Nadal wins his 1,074th ATP match at the Madrid Masters in Spain. I think that deserves a retweet. Nice one, Zayn. Hopefully you get a few more followers from that. So there he is as a 15-year-old on the left and as a 37-year-old on the right. And he's a 37-year-old who is through to the next round of the Madrid Masters, where he'll play Jiří Lehecka. Okay, that brings this episode to a close. Please do make sure you tune in again in a couple of hours to Nick, who will be bringing us live commentary of Danielle Collins in her match with Aryna Sabalenka. So that is to come later on this evening. So make sure you keep an eye out for that one. In fact, I'm going to post that link in the live chat right now, but it should also pop up at the end of this video as well. Indeed, Terry, it was a nice tweet. Good on Rafa. It's nice to see him playing so well in Spain, says Ashley, and thanks as well, Terry. Terry, they were also suggesting that was stressful. And of course, Ozan saying the king of clay. Just one final quick look at Twitter to see if there is something else to show you, particularly if there's a nice image on offer. I think I did show, or I did tweet out some of those stats as well from the match as a whole. Let's see if I can find those now. Yeah, here we go. So that's the stats from the match. But of course, the most important one is that Rafael Nadal won in 3 sets. 6-1, 6-7, 6-3. Thanks for tuning in, and you know the drill.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Something is better, something is worse. Of course, when Rafael arrived in the ATP Tour, he was really young. He was 16 years old, and of course, he was not well done in this moment. Then, during many years, he improved. When you watch the first Rafael Nadal in Roland Garros, is not the same than the Rafael Nadal in 2008 or in 2010. I think the best player was in this moment, 2008, 2010, because he was young, he has power, he has a good decision. Something is better, something is worse. Of course, when Rafael arrived in the ATP Tour, he was really young. He was 16 years old, and of course, he was not well done in this moment. Then, during many years, he improved. When you watch the first Rafael Nadal in Roland Garros, is not the same than the Rafael Nadal in 2008 or in 2010. I think the best player was in this moment, 2008, 2010, because he was young, he has power, he has a good decision. Something is better, something is worse. Of course, when Rafael arrived in the ATP Tour, he was really young.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance there
have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity, more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the 5th.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or the 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes up. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his in his knee because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he loses. But
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.